Is it recording? Good afternoon, darlings. How are you? YouTube. So it's been about 2.5 weeks since we last spoke. I'm back. If you're new to my channel, I am a sidereal astrologer with a twist because I don't take into account the 13th sign of Fucius, the serpent bearer. We are currently in the year of the snake, and I am an astrologer. So I do these videos on YouTube because I decode, I help to show you what's going on in the news, what's happening in the world is just an alchemical process which is going on in us as a collective and individually. And so everything is just a reflection, and it's subconscious triggering to help you navigate as the stars are navigating. So if you want to come for a reading, you come to my site, which I add Alchemy Accordance, and you just book a reading and I send you an email to confirm, and then I send you a Zoom link. You can be present, you don't have to be present. Either way, you get your recorded reading. So, I always put 1 hour, but I've never done a 1 hour reading in my life. Because all readings go on for 1 hour 30 minutes, and if you come for a first reading, a natal chart reading, that is 2.5 hours. You get an introduction. We have a 2 hour reading with 2 breaks. We begin with stellarium, then we go on to your chart, we end with tarot. I basically use tarot and oracle cards in all my readings because whatever I show you, the cards will take to another level, and then I overlay, I work with the cards as well. So if you have no idea about sidereal astrology, then you do get an explanation to my work. Everybody gets that. And now I have Patreon, and we are growing in numbers, and I'm doing a lot of work on Patreon. We have 3 tiers. I do something for each phase of the moon. So for the first quarter, for the full moon, for the last quarter, and I also do readings on Patreon, and we're starting to now have group chats where we'll be, we talk about current affairs, we cover what's going on in the sky, and I'm going to start doing teaching videos too, a little bit, that I will, either available on Patreon or that will be sold for people individually. All the posts can be bought if they're not public. So this is a post from yesterday, her Yoni spring break gap passage. So there is Inanna, there is the egg, the aigle. So my village, I tell you always, is spelt A-I-G, but it's silent G, so it's Enyon. So this is Babylon. This is the owl, the Super Bowl. This is Inanna. And we have America, which is represented as the eagle. So in French, an eagle is egg, A-I-G, L, aigle, aigle. So Saturn is the true eagle, Saturn that rises on, so the merging of all the cardinal and fixed signs. So North America, Capricorn, where Pluto is now for 20 years. And we last had Pluto in Capricorn for the American Revolution. And then 20 years later, and in another 20 years from now, Pluto will go into Aquarius. And the last time, that was the French Revolution. So Pluto is making his way through Capricorn, and Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn and Aquarius, is on his way out. He is now in the spring break in the Yoni between Aquarius and Pisces. That is your Yoni. It's your Yoni. It's your Yoni passage. So on the Sun enters Aquarius on the 16th of February. So 16 is the letter P and February is 2. So, and that is the letter B. So PB, Paddington Bear, spring break, and also the summer solstice. Everything is taking us to the summer solstice, 21/6, Prince William's birthday, when we're going to have the Sun and Jupiter on Orion's wand, Merlin. So this war between Pluto and Capricorn for the fish goat and the rising of the Sea Lion, Merlin. This is the gap, and this is the brainstem. That's why we had the comet called Ponce Brooks. That's your PB, P16, B2, and the Sun enters Aquarius on the 16th of February, and we've just had Prince Harry, Mars, doing Invictus Games in Canada, and that's the trou d'eau, the gap, the drap. Justin, tin is can, I can, and Mars. So we had, who did we have coming together? We had Mars, Harry, and we had Justin, Jupiter. And that's what I have been explaining to you for years and years and years. So we've got on each side of the Milky Way, we have got Jupiter right on the bullseye and Mars right on Sirius. And we have the Invictus Games. So why is that? Where is that? The Invictus Games. Agree. So very weird. They're showing, I mean, there's no light in that picture. You can't see anything. Prince Harry on verge of tears as Justin Trudeau praises. So tear is the tears. It's the tear. It's the musketeer. It's the almond oval passage of the narrow gap. And so Justin and Harry, and they're showing it. It's like, you know, so this is, we're coming up to the big boom. The Duke of Sussex was close to tears as Justin Trudeau praised his Invictus Games. Okay. So there they are, Harry on Sirius. So Mars was here for the floods in North Carolina. So 26, 27 it was. 27, there is Mars on Sirius. And we come back to now, and there is Mars on Sirius, and Jupiter was here and he's come back to the bullseye. So they've got each side of the Milky Way. Jupiter is in the home of Venus and Mars is in the home of Mercury, Gemini. So Venus rules Taurus, Mercury rules Gemini. So Mars and Jupiter in the home of Venus and Mercury, and we've got Venus now exalted right on the whale's tail. This is the home of Jupiter. So we have mutual reception going on between Venus and Jupiter that rules Pisces, Venus that rules Taurus. And here is Saturn in that Yoni, in that spring break. And I imagine for the last passage, so Saturn's whole passage of NASA, North America, South America they've made sure has been, you know, very difficult years for everybody. Saturn entered Capricorn for the beginning of COVID. So on the first day, here's Saturn. Saturn was in Sagittarius. Saturn entered Capricorn on 3, 2, 1. And Saturn is now on the other side about to leave of that Yoni. Okay, so back to now. And here we have Saturn, the ruler of Aquarius and Capricorn. So this is Father Air. This is the true air. And we've got Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, where Mars is. So this is the fake air, Mars in Gemini. And we've got Harry, who now lives in America. He's married now with the new BM rising, the Black Madonna, Harry, Aries. So Mars and Jupiter, they both want the fertility. This is the fertility. This is Taurus is the fertility. And we've got Mars, the ruler of Aries, and Uranus is doing his last retrograde from Aries back to Taurus. So Uranus is still in Aries. This is why it's such a explosive time. You know, this is boom time coming up now. We've got Venus ready to do the splash. We've got the granddaughter of Trump called Kai Madison, just like in the film Splash with Daryl Hannah. She's called Madison because she goes to Madison in New York. And Venus is about to go retrograde and Mercury is going to join Venus. And then we've got the last, we've got solar, partial lunar eclipse in this axis of Pisces, Virgo, and then the North Node will move into Aquarius and the South Node will move into Virgo. So we're playing for this spring break. We're leaving Pisces on the spring equinox. We're leaving Virgo on the fall equinox. And we're coming on into Leo at the Washington, D.C. So that's why opposite Washington, D.C. in Biarritz, the Pays Basque, we've got the girl that stands on the rocks. But where they had that plane explosion at Washington, D.C., the plane Saturn with the Black Hawk, Jupiter, and it made that explosion of Venus as we see in the Thunderbolts project. That's showing you the birth of Venus. It's showing you that Mercury and Jupiter, Mercury rules Virgo, Jupiter rules Pisces, and that's where the North-South node are now, and they're going to move into Aquarius, ruled by Saturn, and into Leo, ruled by the Sun. So Venus is now the first sign So Venus is now the first sign, Taurus. This is the fixed cross. These are the 4 fixed corners. We always have Merlin. We have the passage. You see the circle that they put in the middle. In the middle of that fixed cross, they put that circle. And that circle is the trou d'eau. It is the passage. It is the passage leaving the mutable cross to get onto the fixed cross. So Pisces is still spring, ruled by Jupiter. Virgo is still fall, ruled by Mercury. Sagittarius, Father Christmas, is still the 12th, the 21st of the 12th, Jupiter. But now Gemini, ruled by Mercury, when we wake up on the 216, the sun is in Taurus. So the sun sits on the wand of Merlin between where Jupiter is now and between where Mars is now. This is the Milky Way. There's the Milky Way. And on the other side of the Milky Way, we have the home of Jupiter, Sagittarius, and the home of Mars, Scorpio, and that Milky Way gap where we've got this fake 13th sign. That 13 makes the bee, and the bee is yellow-black. That's why the Invictus Games is Mars. This is the true eagle, Scorpio, Europe. The Scorpio should rise as an eagle to carry the snake of wisdom, Libra, ruled by Venus. So Mars rules Scorpio, Venus rules Libra. On this side, this side, this is the golden triangle, the winter solstice. And on the summer solstice, we have Mars and Venus. And we've got this gap here where we've now got Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, and Mars, the ruler of Scorpio on the other side. But Mars also the ruler of Aries, where Uranus is. And that's why we've got Justin Trudeau and Harry coming together now. So Harry is strategically in America because the Empire, Jupiter, Europe are taking over America, and they're taking over the two connections. So Canada, Alaska, Canada, Russia, CR, the Cairo, 55 kilometers between Canada and Russia. And then on the other side, Washington, D.C., we've got bang opposite France, Biarritz, where the Virgin stands on the rock. So it's this gap, this spring break, where Saturn is now. He's still just in Aquarius, and North Node is coming closer, still in Pisces here, but the North Node is going to cross over this Vesica Pisces. And this is what is happening. We've got the big line up in the sky right now. We've got Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Venus, Neptune, Saturn, Mercury, Sun. And yesterday we had a plane crash in Toronto as the moon was on Spiker, just as for the attempted assassination of Trump. So there you've got the moon that was on Spiker yesterday. Back to now. So Mercury is in the true air in Aquarius, and Mercury rules Gemini, where Mars is. Mars rules Aries, where Uranus is, and we are about to have in 2 days. So we're going to have the last quarter moon. So we had a new moon in Capricorn, and we've just had a full moon in Leo. And now we're going to have a last quarter moon. We're going to have the moon right on Antares, opposite Jupiter, on the bullseye. So normally the moon is considered exalted in Taurus. So it's considered in fall, in detriment, in Scorpio. So that moon is on Scorpio. So is this the eagle rising the eagle? Is this the true merging of Saturn? Saturn is exalted in the home of Libra, Venus's home, and Mars is the ruler of Scorpio, and Mars is in Gemini, as Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, is in Aquarius. But Mercury's still in Aquarius for the 20th. And Venus, so let's just watch this crossover, because this is a very important. Mars is about to go forwards. Mars is about to go stationary, then direct. So this is, for me, it's all about this last eclipse season in the Pisces Virgo axis before the North Node crosses over this bridge, this spring break into Aquarius. And then Saturn will be in the home of Jupiter, and Saturn loses his power. They've had all these awful things that have been going on, the wars, the Ukraine war, the Israeli last war. Now the peace is coming because Jupiter is the hero, and Batman and Robin, Jupiter and Mercury, they are now taking on Catwoman, Venus in their tribe. Venus, the ruler of Taurus, because the summer solstice is now on Taurus. And this is all coming up. Charles will step down, and we will have Prince William becoming the king, as Harry is in America. So the empire is striking back. Trump is playing the brainstem. We had Ukraine is the skull, it's the vertical, and Putin is the horizon. So we go from full expansion, Jupiter, the mutable cross, and we're at that gap this gap. That's why you have the number 21 card. You've got the girl, the world cards that is in this passage, or you see Merlin, so the Merlion. So the Merlion is this mixture between Mars, Jupiter, and the Sun, taking over that, you know, that government energy of Saturn ruling Capricorn, where we've currently got Pluto. This is the time that you're meant to find your fifth element. You're meant to leave that mutable cross and find your fifth element. And that is why we've got this. So the three stages, the body, mind, body, and soul. Got the Putin, the horizon, the Ukraine, the vertical, and the brainstem, Trump, Elon Musk. Elon Musk is Gemini, Trump is Taurus, and William here in the middle. So we've also got all this AI coming in. AI, this is the life of Brian. Brian is your brain. You've got AI for Brian, or you've got brain. I've got my cat up on the tree. Oh my holy goodness. One moment. Okay, I put the animals outside. So we've got so much happening right now. Uranus, last time Uranus was here was 1940. I keep telling you, and now Uranus is about to enter for good into Taurus. This is the last time he is in Aries. Mars wars. And this is to find your fifth element. You've got Is, Taurus, Ra, Aries, El, Medusa. This is, so you see, this is, you know, always turned to stone, decapitated. That's what the American, the French Revolution was about. Every time we come to this moment when Pluto comes back into Capricorn, we've got this ability where you can leave the mutable cross, the Genesis 322. 322, it's this war for the spring break. The calendars have been changed. My village is the five-pointed star. This is Venus, where you waken your third eye. Venus rules Taurus, the neck, the api, the brain stem, and Venus rules the kidneys. And then you have Mars that rules the head, the crane, and Mars that rules Scorpio, the sexual organs. So Mars and Venus are very important. Mercury and Jupiter, they are only on the mutable cross. That's why Marianne Faithfull, she married Mick Jagger. That's why you saw Princess Diana with Michael Jackson. Diana is Venus, Taurus, the moon goddess. And Marianne Faithfull, La Marianne, is, you know, taking on this energy, this. We've got the girl, the Gemini, Mercury merging with Venus to make that hermaphrodite, Hermes and Aphrodite. So Mercury, Venus, and then Virgo, Mercury, Libra, Venus. So for this first quarter, last quarter moon, that moon is going to be just in Scorpio. So it's not going to be completely on Antares, is it? Yeah, maybe. It's on Antares, opposite Jupiter. And we're going to go and have a look at all that on. Let's just have a look. So then we've got so Venus is getting ready to go retrograde. Yeah, so this is what is very big, is this passage of Mercury. So Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, where Mars is, and the ruler of Virgo, where the South Node is. Mercury is going to, let's click Mercury. Mercury's going to go through this Vesica Pisces passage and join Saturn. Saturn, the ruler of where Pluto is. So 23, on the 25th, we've got Mercury and Saturn conjunct, and we've got Moon and Pluto conjunct. Pluto is just here. So that's a big date. 26, 27, Mercury has entered Pisces. Actually, between the 26th and the 27, Mercury is entering Pisces. So we're going to have Neptune right there as well. So Neptune is here, North Node is here, and Venus is getting closer. She will begin. So you see, as we go through this passage, 28, and then on the 3-1, Venus is stationary. She's exalted. She's incredibly powerful in Pisces. This is the film that I always show you with Baron Munchausen. So this film, there it is. This is the passage. You'll always see them with the curtains, with the veil. It's the passage. Jupiter, Saturn, and Uma Thurman plays Venus. This is the time that Jupiter, the Baron, that's why Trump's son is called Baron, got the balloon, the air balloon, the ball, the ball, the ballon, the ball, the super ball, the ball. And so we've got the Lilith, that's the 5-pointed star. That's the first quarter moon on the 3-6, the Yoni passage. This is atomic, the yellow and black, the bee. This is the Invictus Games we've just had, showing you the yellow and the black with Mars, I am, Harry taking over this gap between Capricorn, black, and yellow Sagittarius, or that can also be Taurus black, Aries yellow, and it can also be Leo yellow next to Virgo with Virgo black. So there is Uma Thurman and the Baron, Venus taking Jupiter with the Ruben, the ribbon, Diana, yellow, black, showing you Taurus, and Michael Jackson, MJ, Mercury, Jupiter taking Venus. And there again, Diana, that's why he was so close to Diana. This is the new Black Madonna, black and yellow. He's got his little Cupid heart on here. This is your Canada, the Kran, the Ukraine, and the horizon. And this is the Canary. There's been a warning in Canary, the Canary Islands. Canada, Russia, Cairo. We're at the Cairo. This is the Cairo is in that Vesica Pisces passage. Cairo. So there, we're right in between that mutable cross, and you've got that last Chiron's last, as Chiron is currently about to leave Pisces for Aries. So there they show you. This is Saint Martin de Tours, Mars and Jupiter, and Mars will begin to go forward. He's right on, you see, he's right on the, this is Russia. So it's the hammer and the sickle. It's the Bolshevik flag. We're coming up to absolute repeat energy. Gemini is Italian, speaking with the hands, Italian, Mussolini, Mars in Mussolini, and all the fascism that is rising. That is your Rumpelstiltskin. That's why Trump, with the assassination, he rises. This is the this is the spine and the orb and the spectre. The orb, the fist. Instead of finding your head, they give you your fist, they give you anger. The medulla oblongata is that, can you control your moods, your anger? So that's why in Lucifer Rising they have Kenneth Anger. So there we've got Venus and Jupiter, Catwoman and Batman. So MJ and now Venus, just like with that film V for Vendetta. V is the passage, and this is exactly where we've got Venus now. Venus, the ruler of Taurus. Taurus rules the throat, the voice, and we've got Venus right on that V, on that Pisces, on this Vesica Pisces passage. So on the 3-1, she begins her retro as Mars is now moving forward. Venus starts to go back. So we've got peace, Venus going retrograde, and Mars wars going forwards. Venus on the 3-2, we've got Mercury and Venus conjunct. So we saw we had a new moon, have a new moon on the 28th. So that new moon, sun and moon in Aquarius, Saturn still in Aquarius, and Mercury now just on the other side. And then we're coming up to the first quarter, which is on the 3-6, 360 wheel, and Mercury begins to go retrogrades, stationary around the 15th, and then Mercury will go retrograde with Venus. Then we have, on the 3rd, we have got eclipses in March. We've got one, so this will be, got one around the 14th. Yeah, 14th of March, we have a lunar eclipse. So this is absolutely marking this spring break completely, the passage between Aquarius and Pisces, Saturn and Jupiter, and Mercury and the Sun. We're going to have Moon conjunct to the South Node, Sun conjunct to the North Node, but it's a total, that's their conjunct, so it's a total lunar eclipse. Total lunar eclipse, this is big. And then we've got total lunar eclipse. Total lunar eclipse. And then the next new moon after that, on the 29th of March, we have a partial solar eclipse. And that will be fully, then we will be on our way, North Node almost into Aquarius and South Node almost into Leo. This is the whore of Babylon. This is Babylon, Virgo and Leo, because it's the war now. This is, we're going to be, the new spring equinox will be Aquarius, the fall will be Leo. So Virgo is going to be riding on the back of that Leo. And this is, for me, this is this gap between the Atlantic Ocean, between Washington, D.C. and France, Europe, and maybe the summer solstice and the winter solstice is more about that gap between America and Russia and Asia merging here and here. Okay, so we're going to go over some posts now. This, I haven't been able to watch it yet fully. I just had a quick look, but we're going to just have a look at Uno's video without sound, because it's a lot of everything I've been talking about. So this first scene, he's showing you the eagle, and he's showing you Paris, Texas, this film I've been covering for years and years. And he says this is Trump. So he's there between the two horns of the bull. So that is your brainstem. That is just the brainstem. We'll be getting to those pictures in a minute. So the eagle represents USA, but it's also Scorpio. Scorpio rises as the eagle, but Trump will fall, as will, this is life on Mars. life on Mars. So this is, I've been writing and saying that, you know, that's what I said in my last video. Maybe I didn't make that video for YouTube, but in my videos I've been doing on Patreon, I have been explaining. So Pluto in Capricorn. And this is talking about that Caesar Trump, this play, which I've covered because it shows you with Harris. You have Harris shown in this as well, and you've got the mermaid splash in the bath. So this is, you know, we've got Venus right now on the whale's tail, on the wings of Lucifer. So they showed the attempted assassination. And as Uno did this yesterday, we had the moon on Spica, which was exactly like for the attempted assassination. Moon was on Spica. That, so he's talking about yes we can, yes we can. That's can, that's tin, just tin, 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 Jupiter. Canary, the canary at the back of your head. It's, you know, this is the passage. There's the passage. Yes we can, the tin and the eagle, and that he's showing you when that attempted assassination. He shows you. So this is all this mini-me. So you've got the mini-me. Mini-me is AI. This is Austin Powers, the appy of the bull god. This is Amélie Poulain, app. And I told you my village, the book. We have the Abbé Pierre, Aignan, William J. Hudson. So this book, Abbey, at BP. It's just this is so, I'm thinking more than the summer solstice, the war is really for this spring equinox passage between Pisces, Jupiter, and Aquarius, Saturn, opposite the Whore of Babylon, rather than Prince William's birthday, because 16 is P and B is 2. 16 to the 16th of February, just after the Fertility Festival, 13th, 14th, 15th, Valentine, Lupercalia. So that book. And then you've got, it's written by William J. And this is about my J. William Hudson. This book is about my village, which is the 5-pointed star. My village is 322, Genesis 322. It's this spring. It's the true new year. The true new year is the spring equinox. So then you've also got Abbé Pierre in France, this little man who's just the gnome. He's got his little cask. He has just been found of sexual assaults. So they're telling you that the little gnome at the back of your head, the Amélie Poulain, with his basque hat that I showed you, Trump's daughter Ivanka was wearing at the inauguration. She wore her black beret for revolution. It's the revolution. So he is now being pushed out, just like Mother Teresa, and Trump is going to have the same fall coming to him, and then America will be in the hands of Noahide law. Just as I was just fell back on that. So yeah, there's Marianne Faithfull and Mick Jagger. So same thing. That's like Michael Jackson with Venus. Venus is now, this is the lineup on the 3-6. We've got all those planets. Back to Uno's video. So we've got mini-me. This is, it's, you know, always Jupiter and Mercury. And this is the Trump, the Venus. He's going to get replaced. So he's showing you the Yoni in his hand there. He's just there, showing you the passage. He's got his little finger, just like Austin Powers mini-me. He puts his little finger like that. So this is what I've been telling you. The children, Mercury, are being given the power. 666 is just 216. DT, Donald Trump. Now, I don't know what they mean by this MAGA goat, but I found MAGA was a gun. The gun is the throat passage. Toronto plane, Harrow, Delta plane going up. And this is so this gun, I don't know what this is. This is a weird shaped gun. Normally the gun gives you the crane, it gives you the L, the throat passage. But that's a weird. So this must be a type of goat, the MAGA goats. Okay, and then we've got Lionel Messi. This is the Merlion, no longer the goat. He's playing the goat. He's becoming the Merlion. Merlion and the goats. The rugby ball is that oval passage. Six, Lionel Messi. This is the goat. Okay. So this is the passage. This is the beast. You've got to 33 vertebrae. The beast you've got to get past is the gnome at the back of your heads. This is, that's why you have to know your name to know your enemy. And that's what happened to me in 2016 when I went for the birth of my second grandchild in New Zealand. And I wrote that article in my old blog. I wrote this in 2016 when I still wasn't where I am today, but I did this huge long article. So I didn't even know about the goblin being the brainstem then, but I was saying, I felt like I had to meet the king of the goblins. I didn't realize yet that this was Sirius, the keeper of the four corners. Sirius, here he is, Bess, the god of fertility. So it's the same character as in the New Zealand, sticking out his tongue. There he is, Bess. And so I met him, and it was all to do with the meeting of, and I had this dream where I've never had such an outrageous thing going on, but it was something to do. So I actually met this tall, transparent guy and the little guys. That they even show you there's a smaller one. So there were two smaller ones and one big one. And I talk about all this here. So it's all about meeting your goblin. You've got to know his name. You've got to be able to turn straw into gold. That's alchemy. And then I was explaining how I felt that they were trying to take my vibes. Says that's Austin Powers. That's app. I had a dog called Mojo before that film came out, and my introduction. Elizabeth is coming for a full moon chat next month. Okay, let's move on. Let's close that. So the MAGA goats. 55 are the kilometers between Canada and Russia. CR. It's your William Blake image. That's the William Blake image. That is the passage. And they worship the beast. So this is just the same thing as what AI is. And this is what I'm going to be showing you, some posts. Now, it's all just symbolic. So let's look at some posts. So these are old posts that I'm bringing up. So look there, they're showing you this woman of 100 years old, Capricorn, on the horse, Sagittarius. So keeper of the four corners, Sirius, Sirius, Osiris, you cannot be serious. I've spelt that wrong. Siri, JM, Angry Rumpelstiltskin, John, Mac, Anne Rowe, Jupiter, Mercury, mutable crossover to your fifth element, your crane, UK rain, is Beth, fertility god, App, Ponce Brooks, PB, 162216, the brainstem. So it's always the same story. We're at this passage, which is just your brainstem. That's why, so in the Olympics, you put the two birds side by side, each side of your brain, and that makes your gnome, who controls your tempers, your brainstem. So that, again, this is a very old post. It's from August, where I was talking about this all the time during the Olympics. The Liberty pole, it's your spine, but it stops before the head. That's your stump, that's your neck. Amélie Poulain, Appy, the bull gods. And this is the fertility, showing you they basically want this is the god of fertility. Can you know your name? You can't get past. So Rumpelstiltskin, Amélie Poulain, Bill and Ben, the labyrinth. It's about the fertility. He takes her baby, and that's what happened to me in my dream. You have to go and read that article. I had to have an explosion, just like in Goliath being tied down, the giant. I had all these little gnome people. That was on a first black moon experience, and a month later I met these transparent blue people, these people here. So he is the gnome. It's all about getting, and this is the passage. Here she is, the Trudeau. To get onto the fixed cross, we go through this passage. Amygdala. This is the torso field, is that red, blue, positive, negative, and this bit in the middle is your brain stem. So there is Inanna holding the snakes. Your spectre, your spine, that is just Taurus and Mercury, and then you merge. This is Venus and Mercury. Venus and Mercury are the gates to the higher self. So we've got, at the moment, Taurus, Aries, and Uranus is doing his last retrograde. So you enlighten your bulb. Everything is symbolic going on now. There is Rolf Harris with an extra leg. It's got that middle path. It's the mutable cross, and you've got that middle line. You've got that added middle brainstem. So there's your chats, GPT. So same thing. P is 16, T is 20. That's 16-2. That's the spring break. That's the passage. It's the same thing. It's your 69 to 96. Got to get through that passage. You've got to meet this beast within you, your own temperaments. Clockwork orange. This is red and yellow. This is Jupiter and Mars. And it's the Appy. This is why 3 people were injured in the plane crash yesterday. It's always that capstone, the capstone, and the passage Fleur de lis, it's just another way of showing we're going back onto the fixed cross. You've got to get through the Joker, past the St. Patrick. There's Bess again. Again, it's just Batman and Robin. You've got Sagittarius with the harp and little Mercury. Just like we see Elon Musk with his son. And there's Rumpelstiltskin, very angry because she found her name, she found her enemy, so she keeps the baby, the fertility, she can remain human. And that's what they would be, the mascot of the Paris Olympics. There is the same thing. We see the Ada, the Canada. This is your Julius Caesar. This is the snake. We're in the year of the snake. It's your Kundalini. It's repressed. You gotta be able to find your fifth element now. Okay. So that somebody posted that, but this is exactly the post that I have just been explaining. So I put that here. 11 comments. So the post I did a few days ago. This is why AI is dangerous. It takes you straight to the light, but if you have not passed through the passage, the mirror to you, yet you see only your reflection. AI is your narcissistic slave, Dobby. You have to pass the Goblin, Rumpelstiltskin, App, Amélie Poulain, Austin Powers, the Appel. This is William Telltale, the flesh of Jupiter. He takes away the apple, the eye, the third eye. Is your brain, your Brian stem, your own personal trick or treat. Know thy name, enemy, your mini-me, your enemy, your TikTok. If you dare discard Dobby, he will have already entered your nervous system. You can't be above Dobby if you have let him serve you. It's a trap. Once Dobby has entered your brain, you become the life of Brian, Monty Python snake under total hypnosis. So I'm not anti this. I personally don't need to use, and I wouldn't want to, but I'm sure as time goes on, we will all be using it. And but you have to have got through this passage. We've got 15 years of Neptune in Pisces. And this is Edward Scissorhands. Edward was the Black Prince. This is Amit, the great crocodile. This is the dial, ET dial, phone home. It's the dial. So people who skip their shadow work and go straight to love and light are some of the most emotionally abusive and unsafe people I've ever come across, parodying as light while having no experience in navigating the darkness. Is a confabulation, right? So this is your ET. So the gremlin, you've got those three, just like we've got Eve, Sophia, and Lilith. You've you're either truly you've merged all three, or you remain. This is the in our skull. We've got this, and we've also got this in our pelvis. So there's your gremlin. This is your ability to either, be under monarch, butterfly programming, or you get through the programming, get through the mirror on the wall. So there's Dobby and his ears, again, it's just like the gremlins. It's the same thing. And she's showing you again here the ears with her collar. So there's mini-me, just as we see with Elon Musk's son. ChatGTP is the AI. There's his ears. Just like in Star Wars, you've got that little guru. So you're either able to, AI is just your consciousness, and that is in its best energy. That's Aquarius. Pisces, Aquarius is science fiction. It's incredibly evolved, or you sink in the abyss. You can check in any time you want, but you can never leave. This is the 12th house. This is where I've spent my whole life. This is Alice in Wonderland, Virgo, Pisces, axis. Alice going through, able to navigate. That's why they showed you Amy Winehouse, who dies because she didn't make it through the 12th house. She just faded away. So we're going through this gap. Lord of the Rings, Mars is going to return to Pollux. He's on the Scythe. And then he gets back goes Sirius back to the Scythe, back to Pollux. It's your ginger cat. This is Mercury rules Gemini and Mars is in Gemini. So that's your hobbits. That's the same thing. And there you've got, this is like Lucifer. This is Lucifer rising. This is your bulb. This is your light. It's either your fist, you use your hand, or it's your key. So again, it's everything I've been explaining. This is, we're here now. This is your AI, your mini-me. Got to get through the passage. It's the year of the snake, or we're completely hypnotized. The life of Brian. And there again, he's standing between the passage. You got it all wrong. You don't need to follow me. You don't need to follow anybody. You've got to think for yourselves. You're all individuals. So you've got the spine, the throat, the passage, the people, and the head, the two sides of the temples. Brian, the brain. The passage. The passage is the horse movement, and this is why Prince William is working for the association, the homeless passage, because Saint Martin de Tours, he gives his cloak to the people. He's a hero, he's a superhero, but he kills Saint-Saturnin. He kills Saint-Saturnin. He takes over. The empire is taking over America. So again, they're showing you. So we've got this, that in our pelvis and in our heads. These are old posts, but I've always explained that St. Andrew's cross, what we see in the sky, Andrew cross, he created through electricity. So this is the beast. We've got the lion, the Merlin, in between the mutable cross. You've got to get past your own brainstem, your brain medulla oblongata. That's your can you be and these are the spiders, the mites, the spider web, the barium, made from dirt. So you've got the plasma. Plasma is the fifth element. And you've got to get through the barium. Jean de Barry, From Russia with Love, James Bond. We've got the new Bridget Jones, which is just out, The Last BJ. Okay. Andrew Cross was a British scientist who was born and died at early pioneer experimenter in the use of electricity. He became known after the press reports of an electrocrystallization experiment he conducted in 1836, during which insects appeared. So it's Spider-Man. So these are all posts that you can see on this is open to all members, free members, my Patreon. These are the sky, making soup for detoxing. Okay, so that's the same thing. Ukraine, Putin, and Trump. It's just the three levels. It's the head, the vertical, the horizon. They're showing you the new cross. The new cross. The new cross. So the mutable and the fixed cross at X marks the spots. New cross. So the Union Jack, we've got Jack the Ripper in the papers everywhere. This is Jack and the Beanstalk. This is Jacques de Compostelle. So you've got the three: Patrick, Andrew, and England, mutable, fixed, and cardinal. The PINCE, remember we had that comet, that's your PB. We had the Gardien du Temps, that's your voice. There is the bird in the crane. Okay, so we just had Lupercalia. That was what, exactly 2 years ago that I was in the floods in New Zealand, and I made so much noise that they had to come and get us. Oh, good. So the sound's off. So that was, my son-in-law had written that. This is 4 days afterwards. So the water had covered completely, and interesting that they focus on our house. So most of the houses were landsliding. You see the landsliding. And this is PR, Sophia, this is the lion. We're right in front of the big lion with the Virgin on the rocks, just like in Biarritz. And I made so much noise that they came and knocked on our door and got us. And then, so this guy is called MJ, Michael Jackson, JM. And, they knew very well, this is the big rock, that's the Lion's Rock. And that again is the house. So here's my van here. The water was all the way up to the top window. Everything got lost. Quite incredible that they actually show these images. And that was my van, and I just was freaking out the whole time. I had this feeling I was going to get locked and trapped in the water, and the water had gone right up, as completely above. So that was the people that came to save us. They lost their car. So that was on the 13th of February. That was 2 years ago now. And just as I told the grandparents, they lost both their sons. Their surname is Brown. This is the brow, to get to the brow, to get to the third eye. Paddington Bear, Mr. and Mrs. Brown. Paddington Bear was found at Victoria Station. So my son-in-law, his brother, they've gone. Gemini, we're now on to Taurus. And that 13, 14, 15 is always before that big date, the 16-2 PB. And luckily they came and knocked on the door to come and get us, and the man was in shock, and he actually spoke to me about my mother, and I just knew that. So I told the grandparents that I was going to give them the grandchildren, and now everybody's doing really well. So there's the Virgin on the rocks, on the Ark of the Covenant in Biarritz, looking out to the sea, to Washington, D.C. So it's my full moon chat. So we've got Jack the Ripper. It's in the news. Jack the Ripper is in the news. That was an old post from the 5th. I'm talking about explaining the fog we had. And then he's in the news. So I would have put a link. So Jack the Ripper's DNA. I posted that post again because Jack the Ripper's identity potentially revealed in DNA breakthrough. So Jack is Jack, it's Jupiter, Jack and Rose, the Titanic, Jack, Jupiter, and Venus. Okay, so we're going through. Jane Birkin, 69. That post is open to the public. You can go and read that about the full moon. Full moon. This is a very good post. So we've got this lady. So what's this? 64 people killed in plane crash, 6446 and 3 in Black Hawk, Babylon, Airbnb, 64th Department, Biarritz, Anglet, Bayonne, Babylon, Biarritz, Anglet, Babylon, and Al is the N, the Enyon, which is your brain stem at the back. So Babylon, Virgo rises above the horizon, Leo rises onto the DC Washington opposite. So there you've got, exactly as we see in Lucifer rising, Babylon. There's your Aldebaran. And this 2001 to now, 2001 to now is 14 years, and 2012 to now is 13 years, and it's 14 months. Well, it was, we're now into the next month, but it was 14 months. So when they announced peace from the war in Israel, so we've got these 14 pieces of Osiris always, the closing. So that is the Black Hawk and the plane, and there you see that breast of Venus, red and yellow. They're showing you the big boom as Uranus is under Algol in Aries. Airbnb, and there at the same time we had a big storm in Biarritz, and this is all connected to the last video I did, Marianne Faithfull and Venus. That is what they show you, Venus. So okay, we covered all that in the last video. I think that, did we cover that? That was, then we had Super Bowl. That was all a big dates. Tomorrow, 13B, Al, years since 2012. Mars, only planet still retro from Cancer. Moon, Mars, Moon conjunct on Pollux, Lord of the Rings and Gemini. Yeah, okay, so we had all that. Jupiter, Jack, Jupiter, Rose, Venus, the hidden hand, blah, blah, okay. So you see this head of the alien. That was the charts. Moon and Mars conjunct as Moon rules Cancer and Mars is retro from Cancer, the ruler of Aries. Super Bowl. Got Venus about to go retrogrades. So it's your breast, the bell, Saint Saturnin is killed by the bull, Saint Martin de Tours. So if they're putting an eagle next to Trump, then that's what they want to get rid of. If you don't have, so I put the Super Bowl with Madonna. So I didn't even look at what happened in this year's halftime Super Bowl 2025. we've got red and blue, okay? We've got red and blue. Oh, we've got her, the canary. That's the little birds. Will I Am, Super Bowl halftime. So this is, we've got I Am, Harry has just done I Am in Canada, Will I Am. This book I keep showing you, written about my little village, is by William J. William Hudson. Back to now. So I think that takes us to the last video. 322 Skull and Bones took over the equinox from 321 your crane. So to lose your head, skull, UK reign is the new vertical west-east and the new Hor Putin eyes on horizon north-south. Jupiter, Mercury rule the mutable cross, the gap, and they just made the new cross to stop Saturn being the true heir. They placed the hair joker as Uranus is between Aleph Tav. Exactly 84 years ago, now Jupiter 42, half of 84 is on the bullseye. World War II was about the creation of the new cross and the job is now done. Jupiter, the Empire struck back, Star Wars, and no one can see it. Timing manipulation calendars, Jour J, Julian, Gregorian. So Guerre en Ukraine, le début de la fin. So we've got these two. Again, there we've got Uranus between Aries and Taurus, the fifth element, the Aleph Tav. So always the same thing. The Paddington Bear, the Green Line. We just had a train crash called the Green Line in Boston or something. Red and blue, the torso field, and the Green Line in the middle. And now the Green Line is taking over from the red-blue. So we're leaving the tropics of Gemini and Sagittarius to go on Taurus, Scorpio. And that is where we're being stopped. So there's Osiris. It's your brain stem. The keeper of the four corners. The keeper of the four corners. We leave the mutable cross and we've got to get through this gap to get onto the fixed cross. So it's a level, it's a new world, it's a higher level of consciousness. Got to get through this. This is to come. Now got Venus merging with Jupiter and Mercury. They're creating this gap, and they're doing it. Are they doing it on 16/2, the spring equinox, which is where all the planets are right now? And that's what I'm trying to explain. Today, the 322, Skull and Bones, Jupiter, the crane, the crane is your Ukraine. So Aleph Tav, Holy Grail. There's your red, your yellow and black, the B. This is the Saturn and Jupiter merging. Then the fake and the true should be the red and black, and then you should have yellow and black, but that should be Aries and Taurus, not Sagittarius and Capricorn. Elon Musk and his mother. So Trump tells Putin, Ukraine, hidden treasure. I am the first, Aleph Tav, Golden Gate, Silver Gate, Merlin, and there you've got full expansion, Leonardo da Vinci, and that umbrella is now closing. So we go from the 12 to 8, which gives you the fifth element. So instead of 3 times 12 months to make 360, we have 5 times 72, a fifth season. There's no climate change, it's just changing from cross, and changing our level. We should have merged from the ténèbres. So, you know, this is looking in the eye at your own brainstem. So that's nearly at the end. What happened? This is on yesterday, the 4th of February. So that's 4224. As Jupiter's on the bullseye, we know all that. We've got live Middle East after Donald Trump's statements. France expresses its opposition to any forced displacement of the pound sign. So at the moment, we've got a big tension between Europe and America and all that is the oligarchy. So on the French, they're talking all the time about Trump and his oligarchy. So all this is about to fall. This is all the old white man. This is the white man. It's the end of the old white man, and they're bringing in, you know, the empire has now changing its look, but they have to make people, you know, kill their own Rumpelstiltskin without meeting their name, without finding their own enemy. The few. The corporation is ruled by oligarchy, a government in which small group exercises control, especially for corrupt and selfish purposes. So, you know, this is the next revolution, is to bring down the oligarchy, but at the same time, it will bring down the old Jupiterian empire. That's why Jack sinks in the Titanic. He lifts Rose. He brings up the golden age, the new dawn. This is the Aleister Crowley. This is bringing up that, you know, that Babylon, that whore of Babylon energy, the French woman, the new, you know, this is Virgo. This is Virgo and Libra merging as one, Mercury and Venus, and Gemini and Taurus. So I'm going to end here. The moon is about to enter into Libra, and then we're going to have that last quarter moon in Scorpio, and then we'll have a new moon on the 28th. And that is, it's all about this spring break. It's all about this merging. So currently on that 16-2 Sun enters into Aquarius, and that is your Paddington Bear, and that is bang opposite Leo, Whore of Babylon, and Virgo. And yesterday, for the plane crash, the moon was on Spica. Okay, darlings, I will leave links so that you can read this in depth. Sorry if it's because I have just been talking about this all month. I just wanted to come and catch up with you. I'm tired of talking about it, but you can have a look at this post here where it's all in big detail. So we've got Ryan is Orion. It's the brain. It's the the blind people. They speak with their, it's that. And I showed you this image of Harry. They've shown you it's all in black, it's all dark, on verge of tears, but look, we can't see anything. They're showing it's all in the darkness. So is there going to be, gives passionate speech at the Invictus Games, right? So that was in Canada. I'm sure there'll be more. Go and have a look at Uno's video. I'll leave a link to the Caesars Superdome, and I love you very much, darlings, and please come along for readings. Thank you. Bye for now.